Hi everyone, welcome to Belinda's DIYs. Today I'm going to be sharing with you Christmas in July DIYs. I'll be using this LED lantern from Dollar Tree, and I'll be using two for both DIYs that I'll be making. I'll also be using these shatterproof candy canes, and there is 48 per box. Okay, so I'm going to start off by removing the top ring, and I am going to use my wire cutters for that. So as you can see, the lantern has the 4 panels with those snowflakes. Now what I'm going to do is remove those snowflakes, and I'm going to be using my wire cutters for that. You can also use some heavy-duty scissors or a knife. At one point I used all 3. And this is how it looks with the first panel removed, and now I'm going to remove the other 3 as well. But before I get started with the other 3, I'm going to remove the LED candle. Okay, I've removed all the snowflakes, and this is how my lantern looks now. So what I'm going to do is create a roof for my lantern, and I'll be using these plastic candy canes. So I'll be placing them this way, and they look like an upside down V, but first I'm going to hot glue both ends as I'm showing you right there. Now I did have to shorten the candy canes, and I did use my wire cutters for that. Before I could actually start building my roof, I started off by putting one piece of the candy cane across the front of my lantern. So I measured it, and then I used my wire cutters to cut that piece off. And when I say measured it, I just basically just put my finger on where I needed to cut. And so I took my hot glue gun and just put a strip of hot glue across the front, as you see me do there, and then I placed my piece of candy cane. I did allow that the candy cane extend a little bit further out from the sides of the lantern. Okay, so now I'm ready to glue on my roof, and I'm going to start by adding some hot glue there on the side of that first candy cane that I applied, and then I'm just going to go ahead behind it and attach it as you see me do right there. And here I'm just bringing you in a little closer just so that you can see it up close. I'll be placing another candy cane right there in the center as I'm showing you right there, and this is going to give my roof some stability. So what I'm going to do is just measure it with my finger, and then I'm going to cut that off so that I can glue it to my roof. Okay, so now I'm going to start building the remainder of my roof, and what I'm going to do is just place a candy cane beside each other and glue them on and so forth until I finish my roof. I will place one, and then I'll measure it, and then I'll cut it, and continue just doing the same process over and over again until I complete the roof. Once I have the size that I want, I'm going to go ahead and measure it against a ruler. And to start, I'm going to cut around 10 of them. And just so you know, I did cut 4 inches from the candy cane. Okay, so this is how my roof turned out so far, and as you can see, it does have that gap in the center. And why did I do that? I have no idea. I think it's because that little center point threw me off. But oh well, we're going to continue going with it. This is the first time that I build a roof, but I think that I did a pretty good job. So now what I'm going to do is now start to cover the back side, and right there I'm showing you I'm going to be laying some of those candy canes across the back until I cover the back side. And I'll be repeating the same steps as I did to the front side, is laying first the first candy cane and hot gluing it there on the top of the lantern. And then I'll build my way up. I will measure how much I need to cut from each of the candy canes. And this is how the back side turned out. And now I'm going to repeat the same steps to the front side. Front side is done, and this is how my roof is looking so far. Now I just need to cover the top gap of my roof. So every time I would cut my candy cane, I would stay with this U. So what I'm going to do is just hot glue two side by side on my roof, and it'll just give it just a distinct design. That's just what I decided to do because I wanted it to look a little bit different. And of course, it also solves my problem of having that big old gap. And then I also added two more on the back side. And now what I'm going to start doing is just outlining the frame of my lantern. And in some areas, I didn't have enough of the long candy canes. I only had bits and pieces, so I did use those to outline wherever that I could. Okay, so this is how it turned out, and I'm also showing you that I did put some inside as well, just to cover the edges. And since I had so many of the top of the candy canes left over, what I'm gonna do is add 9 of them to my roof. I'll be putting them on this one side as you see me do there, and also repeat the same steps to the other side. This roof looks good enough to eat. I ended up cutting off those loops because to me they look like horns and I didn't like how they looked. And then for the inside, I added a piece of garland tie and also some frosted berries from Dollar Tree. I'll be using some Starlight Mint from Dollar Tree, some of these paper straws, some faux snow, one of these self-adhesive wall tile from Tool Bench, and this is also from Dollar Tree, and some acrylic paint in the color Candy Apple, and some Mod Podge. Okay, for this lantern, I just went ahead and I took off the front snowflakes or the front panel, and I also removed the LED light. I'm gonna leave the remainder of these snowflakes on the other 3 walls. Now basically all I'm gonna do is cover my 3 walls with this tile. So I'm just gonna measure where I need to cut, and then since these tiles are self-adhesive, I'll just remove the backing and place it on the side walls. Now some of that adhesive did come off from the top panel, so I did have to use some hot glue to glue it down. Okay, so I went ahead and I repeated the same steps to the other 3 walls, and I left that one opening. Next, I went in with the red acrylic paint to paint my walls. Once my paint dried, I gave it a second coat. I also painted the trim in the front side. And this is how my lantern looks with both coats of paint. And then I decided to do something totally crazy, and that is hot glue the mints on top of the roof. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. The unthinkable. And then I just continued adding my mints all along the side and then on top until I covered my roof. Now my little mint house has been standing up for a while, and I've had no issues with ants, if that crossed your mind. And this is how my mint roof turned out. And I also added the mints on the front side frames. And then I took some of those paper straws and I cut them to size, and I placed those on the front frame and also the bottom part of the frame. And this is how it turned out. Next, I wanted to give my roof a little snowy effect, so what I did is brush on some Mod Podge and then I would sprinkle the faux snow. And then lastly, I took this really pretty red bow and I hot glued it to the top of the frame. I hope that you enjoyed these Christmas in July DIYs. Let me know which was your favorite. Until I see you again, have a blessed day.